All right, you Ashes fans, you cricket fans, welcome to Cricket for Americans. Nick here.
Gabe, the Night Watchman.
Oh, Gabe's feeling so good about himself. It's the summer of Gabe. Now it's the fall of Gabe, and winter's like 10 days away. Please don't let it be 3/4 of the year for Gabe. Can't let it happen. Gabe's team and your team, and maybe not your team, played very, very well. I'm trying to not use the same adjectives over and over. They were amazing in this match against England. Don't think England showed up. I think they're testing out some like AI type of something going on right there. That was not the England test team. They won the first match of the Ashes. And Gabe, initial thoughts, my friend.
Well, first of all, this is another installment of our 3 wickets. Oh, there goes that. I love that slow-mo. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. They're telling you the best in the business. They want to put you back there. And as a matter of fact, as bad as these umpires were, they need you back there, Nick. They need you.
You want me to stand for 6 hours straight? Are you crazy?
But Ashes, all right, 2021 Ashes. Interesting match, a lot of developments, a lot of things on both sides we want to talk about. Obviously, we're ready to talk about it. You guys already know Australia held court at home at the Gabba, once again becoming that impenetrable fortress that it once was before the team that shall remain nameless came in there and put in work, right? But bro, I tell you what, there were so many different things that happened in this match, and I got so many different thoughts. I want to start off right away, Nick, by what I loved. And what I loved was Patty Cummins. Patty Cummins, all the pressure in the world, coming in as a brand new captain after the Tim Paine debacle. Okay, Tim Paine, again, right before the Ashes gets removed. So they put him under this microscope, every decision. And as a captain, will he underbowl himself? Will he overbowl himself? Will he know what? He was flawless. Outside of just a selection that I disagreed with, and we'll talk about that later and what I did not like, but he was flawless. He made every correct decision, Nick, and that just goes to show you that when we're talking about cricket, right, there could be so many different nuances to the game, but captaincy matters. Captaincy absolutely matters. Putting guys in a position to succeed matters, okay? And we saw some great things happen here, but to me, it was Patty Cummins getting himself a fifer on day one, making sure he held court, making sure that he set the tone, and his economy rate was low. He put other bowlers in a position to succeed. I don't think he overbowled anyone. I was specifically concerned with how he was going to handle the bowling, because as a bowler, think about it, Nick, you never want to come out, right? You got to force bowlers off sometimes, like, oh no, I still got another one skip. And I was hoping that he wouldn't talk himself out or wouldn't let other players wouldn't or bowlers, I should say, wouldn't allow him to get himself out. And I was most concerned with Mitchell Starc. Okay, Mitchell Starc is probably the second best Australian bowler. But the guy's always hurt, Nick. Always hurt. Bro, the guy needs to walk around as a bubble boy. He's always hurt. And I'm like, you don't need to keep bowling this guy. Once the game was well in hand and it was down to the tail end, don't bowl him. And that's exactly what he did, right? 12 overs, 2 maidens from 35 runs, 2 wickets, 290 economy rate. You got what you needed out of him. Hazelwood actually bowled the second most, which is 13 overs, and Patty Cummins 13.1 overs. Nobody was over bowled. I believe, if anything, he could have probably given Green another over there. Green 3 overs, maiden wicket, right? He for him in the Gabba. In the Ashes, you gotta love it. What did I love so much about this team, Nick? It was the bowling. The bowling held court, and Patty Cummins. Now, as far as the batting is concerned, okay, I was very critical about them leaving off my man Uzi. And there were 2 guys in there that had a lot less experience than Uzi. We're talking about Travis Head and Harris. One succeeded, the other one didn't. My man Travis Head, a $150, whole lot, cousin. All right, when things were looking bleak, like, maybe England's going to come back in here, Travis said, so no. Not at the Gabba. Not on my watch. And he solidified his spot, did what he had to do. When others failed in the opening partnership, just got to say Harris. But, Nick, the final thing is, the groin is healed. The groin is healed. I think Warner came to go see himself. Now, I was going to say an American doctor, but let's be real. He went to somewhere in Asia because all the best doctors are over there. Or maybe Canada because they got universal health care over there. But he went to the best doctors and they healed that groin because my man once again came out, held court, put in work, And just again, when you start seeing Australia's top order back this way, who's going to beat them at home? Who's going to beat them at home? That's not going to, other than India. But remember, David Warner was not David Warner at that time, so that's what I loved. It was an all-around performance, but none other than Patty Cummins as a captain. Could you imagine, Nick, if you fail at the Gabba at home to hit it?
The Ashes, we got four more chances.
But still, in your very first Test debut, they would have been calling for his head. They would have been calling for his head, bro. So good job for you. Patty Cummins, the best a man can be. Let me salute you. Nick, what did you like?
Let me piggyback on a few things. I don't think they would have been calling for his head after the first match because I think he's built up that kind of a reputation where people would almost expect, like, your very first time is the Ashes. Like, the time to debut. And not just that, but very few bowlers are your captains, right? The time to debut, I think it was like 72% of captains, maybe it was just Australia, are batsmen. The time to debut, first match at the Gabba after what happened with India, first match of the Ashes, he was fantastic. Right. He and Stark actually went 20 overs in that second innings. So they kind of went more than the other pace bowlers, but still, he Goldilocks it up right there. Talking about David Warner. He, in the 2019 Ashes, he batted for 10 innings. He scored 95 runs total. Wow. Total. An average of 9. Brutal. He got 94 in his first innings because he didn't need a second innings. Unbelievable. David Warner, I mean, not only has the groin healed, but everyone's going to that groin doctor now, for crying out loud, because now he's like the bionic man or something like that. He might be 8%, cyborg. I would look into that groin without actually looking into it. Get the right doctors to do that, because that's a little creepy when I say that. But Travis Head, let me tell you this. They were like 236 for 6. After they shellacked England in that first innings, 147, they were at a point where they were 236 for 6. And I'm watching this. I'm like, yes, 1 or 2 away, and you got the tail end, and they can get him under 300. Yeah. And Travis Head said, not today. Not on my watch. Literally 152, for crying out loud. And I don't know if it's serendipity or what, but Gabe and I reacted to on Cricket Tuesday to Philip Hughes. And in one of the clips, Philip Hughes was a partner with Travis Head. So I think that's so cool how symmetrical things are. Hughes was born and he passed away around the same time in November, not too far away from right now. And his old partner on that clip was able to bust out a 152. He's like saying, Philip Hughes, I got you, my friend. And he was able to bust that out. That right there, I'm a batter friendly type analysis, whatever you want to call it. That was the major turning point in this match. But Australia had a few of them. What did I love about the England side? I have so many more thoughts. You had some great ones right there. So those are some of mine. I'm going to say some more for later. But what did I like from the England side? There wasn't much to like at first because it was bleak. 147 for 10. Now, I know England's like, oh, aren't you an India fan? Didn't they go out 72 all out, 36 all out? At least we waited to 147. And yes, you're right. You did. It could be a lot worse. I feel like they weathered that horrible storm pretty well. What did I like? I liked Ollie Pope in the first innings. He saw a lot of balls. He was trying to be that anchor, but then he got had by Green on that edge or that catch by Hazelwood. Butler, I liked his high strike rate. Wokes, I liked his high strike rate in that first innings. But there wasn't much I liked at all. I didn't love any of that because they were not able to get up off the mat, so to speak. What I like in the second innings, obviously Malan and Root. Those guys at one point, you can't tell me as an Australia fan, you're watching this or Gabe's right here next to me, or not next to me, but next to me on the screen. You can't tell me that you guys weren't just a wee bit nervous because day 3, this is what's crazy about this match. Day 3 ended with a lot of possibilities. England was really behind the 9 ball with that 425 that Australia scored, and they scored a 147. But Malan and Root got him within striking distance. It was like 220 for 2 loss. They had a long ways to go. They didn't even match Australia's score yet. But they sewed up day 3 with a whole lot to look forward to in the future. The next day, day 4. But then in day 4, and I'll get to that in a little bit, 8 wickets? Are you kidding me? Like in 3.5 hours? Oh, Australia, you were so mighty in this match. But I loved what they were able to do on day 3. I did not love them on day 4. Root and Malan, especially Malan, because I don't know from the top of my head. I didn't do the research. I apologize. I don't think he has a lot of test matches under his belt. He's a T20 specialist. He's a master. He's high ranked all the time in T20 ICC. Joe Root is. but Milan was able to have, for me at least, me watching him, a breakout party in red ball cricket. That's what I loved. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into what I hated because, I mean, there's a lot to hate. Oh, there's a lot to hate. Now,
Nick, and let me just jump in real quick. It's 18 test matches for Milan. So he's got a little bit of
how many T20 matches does he have? International.
36.
Oh, I thought he had way more. Good call.
36.
All right, so he has 18. Not bad. Does it say what his high score was previously? He probably has a few centuries under his belt.
I mean, he averages 30, just under 30, 29.6. And it looks like his highest score. Sorry, this takes a little.
I put you on the spot. It's all right. I'm sure he'll get it eventually.
He has 1 century, 132.
Okay, so this could be his second, third, fourth highest score. So really, really impressive there. Australia gets every bit of the credit, 100% for me. And so as I'm talking about what I hated for England.
Ooh, the bag of
I got to show some love to Australia.
Yes.
I got to do it. Because believe it or not, I'm going to be probably the only guy watching the Ashes rooting for England who also secretly likes Australia. I really do. Jihan, you're right. I said it. But Australia was dominant. Okay? So I don't even know if I blame England because they were not up to the task, for crying out loud. They were not up to the task. This was like that Dudley brother from the WWE. The third one was a Spike Dudley going against a Russian Ivan Drago. You don't really have much of a chance right there, for crying out loud. You really don't. And Australia was so impressed, but let me keep this with the England because that's the format of this show. I could not stand Gabe's. Who's Gabe? Who am I going to talk about first? Who can I not stand?
Rory Burns. Rory Burns. Ew.
I think he's going to get at least a few more because, as people say in the comment section, who's there? They have no other openers, Gabe. They have nobody. They went into Australia with nobody. Absolutely nobody in the cupboard. It's just him. I mean,
Nick, do you got your vaccine card? Get the bat. We're putting you on the plane. We're putting you on the first thing smoking.
I have to wait 2 weeks in the bubble, so I'll be good to go for the third match.
Man.
I'll be good to go for the third match. Honey, I'm leaving for 2 weeks, maybe 3.
Get him.
You tell me I can't last one ball? Now, that ball by Stark, woo, it caught right behind him, leg side. I mean, Burns had no idea where that went, had no idea what happened. He wasn't even ready to play yet when that happened. That was and there's a great reaction by Ozra. Check out his channel, his reaction for it's really cool the way he edited that video. But Rory Burns did not like anything about this guy, no offense, cricket-wise in this Ashes, because you are the opener. You've got to set the table. Obviously, the Royal Golden Duck, whatever you want to call him, Titanium Duck, I'm not sure what it's called, definitely wasn't a Mighty Duck from his first performance. He was demoted to 2, which he should have been. Again, Hamid. He only saw 27 balls. This man saw 28 balls, for crying out loud. Oh, there's a dirty joke I want to say, but I'm not going to say it. It's a family channel. Okay? 28 balls, all right? But it has something to do with people who are celibate, okay? And I'm telling you right now, how could you only see 28 balls? But I didn't say it. Rory Burns, you are the opener. I don't think he knows what's going on. I have no idea. Absolutely hated that. Hamid, I was really disappointed in. And he's going to sit there and say, what are you talking about? I'm like one of the highest scorers. We were so bad. Not when you're in that opening partnership. Not when we needed to anchor somewhere. And he was not ready for this track in Australia. He was not ready for it whatsoever. So much to hate. Root, I get it's a great ball. And people say that all the time. I don't want that as an excuse. If it's a great ball, do your best to defend it. And I know you're going to say, but if it's a great ball, Nick, you can't defend it. If it's an indefensible ball, then fine, whatever. But you can't let the bleeding happen and that happen. And if I give it to Kohli, a guy who's on a team that I root for and a guy I root for, I'm going to give it to you, Joe Root. You know I'm going to give it to you, Joe Root. Luckily for you, you showed who you were in the second innings. But my biggest disappointment, honestly, are 2 guys. And one of them they told me not to get too excited about. And the other one I understand why, but Stokes and Butler.
Right.
This is why I keep going back to my my pun with Butler. He's good, but learning. Okay? He's not there yet when it comes to test. This guy's phenomenal in T20. Right. This guy was doing a high strike rate nonsense in the first innings. Didn't do well enough in the long run. And Stokes, I get it. Like, he has had a long hiatus, all these different things going on, but he was not Stokes. That was not Ben Stokes, and that was very, very unfortunate. And it's just the craziest thing. The last thing I'm going to say about what I hate about England, like I said before, I don't fully blame them because this was a match from what I saw. Basically, Australia had their foot on England's throat the entire match. And like when you watch a movie where someone's just dominating, like Rocky IV, and then Rocky gets a few good punches and he starts to get that comeback, they did not let that happen. They kept that foot down. They kept it dominant, and it was quite impressive. If you're an Australia fan in Australia, you absolutely love it. And they just were by far the better red ball team, by far. Led by a captain who was ready for the moment.
So I just wanted to piggyback up a couple of things you said. First of all, what did I like on the England side? Bro, you mentioned it. Joe Root, okay? After going down for a duck in that first innings, Joe Root came back, high score in the second innings, 89. I believe he was the highest scorer for both his innings in England. And the guy needs some help. The guy absolutely needs some help, all right? Joe Root did his job, and I think he's having the best season of his career. But I think he arguably is having the best season of anyone this year, including he who shall remain nameless over here because he abuses my West Indies every time he goes on, Kane Williamson. But you know what I mean? Like, bro, Joe Root's been a dog. Joe Root's been an absolute dog, and you got to give him credit for how good he's been, all right, Nick? Also, everybody told me, Gabe, look out for Ollie Robinson. Ollie Robinson took some scalps, bro. He took some scalps, and he was the one or the lone impressive bowler, I should say, for England. Okay, we're not even going to talk about Leach. My gosh, I'm sure you didn't mention Leach because nobody expected anything from Leach. But I'll talk about that when I talk about what I learned. But Leach, please, man, where's Don Best? Where's Don Best? I apologize, Don Best. I apologize, Don Best. Holy cow, that's what they brought you in for. That's what they brought you in for.
He can negotiate himself a huge contract right now.
You know what I'm saying, Don Best?
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
That's what Don Best is saying right now. I can give up less than that. The guy got abused out there. 7 economy rate. How dare you?
He was a T20 economy rate. What's going on?
Like a T20 economy rate, bro. It's not even funny, man. But honestly, Ollie Robinson, along with and I think that when England gets back home, and even when they get to more pace-friendly conditions, when they eventually get Archer back, of course, they're going to have not Stokes, I'm sorry. Stuart Broad, Jimmy Anderson, and Ali Rock, bro, they got some pace and they got some swing and seam. It's their spinners that they lack. So I will say I was very impressed with Ali Robinson. Go on to the England side. What did I hate? Bro, really simple. Rory Burns, are you kidding? Stokes, you could tell, wasn't ready, okay? It's like Stokes was not ready to go out there. I get it. He took a long time out. First, he was injured, then mental health. He wasn't ready. Obviously, he wasn't in game shape. But Rory Burns exposed his stump, and this is something that obviously he gets caught with often because I don't know what it is. Like, how do you not watch game film and see that you expose yourself because you go across the crease so much? And for an opener, and people will argue me, well, Gabe, who do you go to?
Ball.
Anyone. The guy got Nick. He's got six ducks this year, 6 in tests. You know the only person that have more than him? Your boy Boomerang. Boomerang's like, throw me up in there, Skip. You know what I mean?
Not Siraj? Not Siraj?
Not even Lo Siraj, bro. Not even Lo Siraj got 6 ducks. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Even the Barmy Army on Twitter was like, yeah, yo, we don't know who to go with. We don't know who to go with. It's like, you know, the lesser of two evils. Who else do we put in there? They even said, Gabe, who do you want us to throw in there? Are we going to throw in Zach Crawley back in? I'm like, I don't know. Don Sibley? Man, you know what I mean? You just don't know. So it's a look at the there's no Sibley in there. But Rory Burns, you're terrible. As an opener, you're terrible. And you put your team in a horrible position. And don't say, Gabe, it's only an innings. Go back 6 ducks this year. Really? Really? What an opener does that? Not even Johnny Bairstow does that. Nick, it was so bad. The Army.
What would you think about a Bairstow?
Bro, Barmy Army hit me up on Twitter. Like, yo, you know what? Bairstow could do that. Yeah, throw Bairstow in there. Throw Bairstow in there. Because what? Bro, he's not giving us anything. He's not seeing a lot of balls. He's not beating up the ball and at least taking on the new ball, allowing, 10 overs plus before the middle order gets in there.
Nothing.
You're not scoring. You're not doing anything. You're terrible. You're terrible. And you know what? I'm sorry. He needs to get in the right headspace. With that being said, Nick, I agree with you. What did I hate about Australia? Going back to the openers, okay? Me personally, it's because I do like Uzi so much, okay? But they have put in two guys that had less experience than Uzi, and Travis Head, I gave him all the credit in the world. $150, he earned his position there. But you cannot tell me that it's good enough. It is good enough to get, what was it, 13 out of Harris? 13? That's what you got out of Harris? He got 12. 3 in the first inning, and I get it. He didn't have to put up a lot in the second, and that actually saved them. They didn't need to. But Marcus Harris, guys, is not the answer. The guy's not the answer. He averages like 20 runs or something crazy like that. Nick, 26. Are you serious right now? You can't go to anyone else? Come on now. And I am concerned, not just because of Uzi, but we saw the injury to Warner. Warner didn't even play in those second innings. They didn't need him. But if Warner's gone, that means you got to have Harris out there because it's going to be him and Uzi. But if Warner is injured, I would love to see Warner and Uzi partner up at the top because, again, Harris isn't really helping you. He's not doing much, guys, and we got to be candid with that, all right? As far as that's concerned, I really don't have too many complaints on the Australia side other than that, and that's the one thing I really wanted to jump on. Nick, do you have any complaints on the Australia side?
Not at all. They were dominant.
So I wanted to jump about on what we learned, okay? What we learned. I learned two things. Number one, all right? Australia, wow. JL, sometimes I love him and sometimes I hate him. JL comes out and says, listen, I hate him for the Uzi thing, but I love him for the bravado. He comes out and says, oh, yeah, we got an unfair advantage against England. Nick, no joke. He says, we got real spinners. We got world-class spinners. That's a smack in the face to all the English spinners.
Gary!
I was like, oh, disrespectful. That was in an article on CricBuzz. I was like, did he really just say that?
400 wickets for Gary.
Mr. Lion comes out, backs up his coach, gets his 400th wicket, and that is the difference. Even in that first innings, Nick, when he wasn't taking wickets, his economy rate was a whopping 2.30, all right? 2.30, all right? 9 overs, 2 maidens, 21 runs, didn't get a wicket, but no balls. On the other side, you want to know what your boy Jack Leach did? 13 overs, 100
runs.
Bro, almost an 8 economy rate. Bro, seriously, Nick. Seriously.
He's their best option.
He's their best option. Don Best is actually on the phone right now like, you boys, because he's actually there. He's in the bubble. You boys sure you don't need me warming up for the next one? Bro, it's that serious. It's that simple. And
it's hard to give up 100 runs in a video game, for crying out loud.
You know what I'm saying? And talking about hootied, Nick, we say getting hootied in T20 is when you give a 50. Well, getting hootied in Test is when you give up a century. 1 wicket. Hootie! He should be embarrassed. Oh my gosh, Nick, it's brutal. And not to cut you off right there. Second thing I learned, and I want to get your thoughts on this. I am so glad that this was in Australia, and it was 4 Australian umpires who missed all those no balls, Nick. All those no balls. 5 straight for Stokes. All right. If it would have been English umpires and it would have been Stokes, or on the other side, if it would have been Australian bowlers that did that, right away, match fixing controversy. The technology wasn't working. Okay, but you're telling me that the umpires missed all 15 that happened? You can't catch one.
If they're reliant on the technology, they're not going to look at it.
But
I don't know.
That's job as an umpire. So that means you do need that technology. So to stop arguing about, well, Gabe, do you want robot umpires out there? Obviously, they're depending on it. You're 10 feet from the guy. You didn't see one of those no balls? One? Are you serious right now? Who they got out there? Big Bill Buckner? Oh, Nick, that's unacceptable.
Now again,
that's unacceptable.
The thing that I'm not freaking out about too much. First of all, Australia wins, right? Second of all, a no ball in Test is a very different thing than a no ball in white ball cricket, right? It's an extra run. Okay, so 14 extra runs, right? Australia didn't need a 4. It would have made the second inning less exciting because now they only need like 5 runs to win.
Right.
But I see what you're saying. Get it done right. Get it correct. And I'm just assuming the umpires are so dependent on something going in the air. Oh, there's a no ball. Okay, no ball. I can't remember what the symbol was. I did a wicket. But for me, it's not a big deal. What I learned, but I understand what you're saying. What I learned is, first of all, right now through Instagram, that England just got docked 5 WTC points and the players lost 100% of their match fee. They lost all that money from that beatdown they just took because of the slow, what do they call it? The slow rate? Slow over rate. Slow over rate. They 5 points and 100%.
They took their bags? They took their bags?
ICC is not messing around. They went out there, they got their butts kicked, and they didn't get paid for it. They did it for free.
Oh, man.
I don't want to get my butt kicked for free. You used to be a boxer. I don't think you want to do it for free. I mean, maybe. You're a little
Nobody
crazy.
does. Nobody does.
Listen.
I mean, that's marriage. I mean, jury's out. I did get married. You know what I mean? That's getting your butt kicked for free. Just say it. Just say it.
The other thing I learned, I love Travis Head's performance. I love Stark bouncing back. I love Cummins' performance. I loved Hazelwood. That guy was dominant in that first innings. I loved all of that. But just like we learned in the World Cup, the most important batter, I'll say batter, not player, batter is David Warner. When David Warner has a good day at the yard, Australia's going to win. And this is recency bias. We've seen it from the last several matches that he's had, T20 and now Test. Imagine, because to your point, Marcus Harris went down for 3 runs in that first innings. Imagine if they would have got David Warner after 10. Probably a different match, right?
Different.
Now, Travis Head, no one was expecting that. Don't even tell me you had Travis Head in your parlay or in your betting thing saying he was getting a top score. Stop it. And I'm so happy for the kid or the guy. He's not a kid. He's a man. But David Warner is so important. Now, the next match is supposed to be England's best chance. Now, this can't. Maybe they knew they were going to lose this match, and that's why they didn't put Stewart Broad or Anderson. You would assume that either they're going to put both of them in or one of those two needs an extra start. So you put both those in, and you better put Captain England. I don't want to hear about anything else from you, Gabe and Ollie Robinson. Captain England, baby. But you put in those two guys. They have the best chance because the pitch conditions, all that stuff for England, and you got to get David Warner out. Both innings early. You cannot let this man get you. And last thing I want to say, Marcus Harris, once again, so impressive, so amazing. This guy had 102 strike rate in Test, and he scored 158. How is that possible, for crying out loud? I thought that was against the rules. Impressive.
Oh, you out of control. Nick, those are my thoughts, honestly.
152.
Those are my thoughts. I think the last thing I want to just do right now is you already said you're going to go with England for the second match, right? I am still going to go with Australia. Even though England has the best chance to win in this second match, I saw something out of England, really, not Australia so much, but England that I had not seen before. I saw Ben Stokes as a shadow of himself. Again, no Jofra Archer, so they don't have that pace and they don't have that aggressiveness. Anybody that's going to be out there beating guys up, okay? That's not who Jimmy Anderson is. That's not who Stewart Broad is, okay? Even though Travis Head, there was a scary moment there when he did take a bouncer, but you know what I mean? And I'm sorry, they still lack a spinner, okay? You need that spinner to slow down the scoring rate. And who you going to do really go to? Again, now, Dom Bess, Jock Leach, their best spinner is Joe Root. That's a travesty, bro. That's a travesty. So I'm just like, nah. To me, until they get that taken care of, I don't think they can win in Australia. So I'm going with Australia to win the second test match. But those are my thoughts, Nick. I'm super excited. We were obviously able to stream most of day one. And then Nick got on there yesterday. They held down the ship for CFA. I was planning on streaming today, of course, but it ended early in 4 days.
I was planning on doing it tonight to finish it up. They gave me an extra day off. I appreciate that.
But the kid was sick, so Nick held down the fort, guys. Nick, final thoughts.
I think it's cool that one positive for England is the England captain was able to bowl out the Australia captain in that innings. Not a lot of positives here. I see what you're saying. Australia has momentum. Australia is at home. Australia fans, it was a sellout day 1 and 2, Jihan said, which is pretty awesome. I don't see them losing a second match either. I'm just saying, England, this is your best chance. And I think they said, another spot. Anyways, we'll get to that. Hobart, I think, is the other place they might have a chance in. But let us know what you think about our thoughts. Give us your thoughts, please. We really want your thoughts. We've shared our thoughts. We want to hear what you have to say. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's hope for a 5-day match, too, when it comes up starting on Thursday. And until next time.
That's 6 runs.